All right, it's Tuesday, April 21st, 2026, 11 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Champaign, Illinois. It's a little bit blurry. I feel like I did not refocus the front camera. I can't really do anything about that now other than to lean into the focal plane where it is. You're joining me for episode 13 of Etherfields, the surrealistic dream campaign game from 2020 or so. There are only 4 or 5 of you here, which is just fine. Now, how blurry does it look? Did I not even change the... Let me see if I can fix this while we're here. I mean, what's the harm, right? Let's get up. Now, you're going to see how I do this focus system here. I have a technique that involves putting something there to focus. So I don't use any of the autofocus on these cameras because I don't trust them. I don't trust the autofocus to not breathe, is what they call it, when the lens goes in and out of focus. Most of the time I keep the same lens on all of the cameras, but I do occasionally change out the front lens when I just have a discussion video like I had last night. Is that when we did the tabletop news? Anyway, so I switch the lenses. I need to refocus. Let me remind you where we are in Etherfields. We have just finished a dream in the library. And we got a way to go back to the library, I think. Maybe we didn't. Did we not have a way to go back to the library? How did we end the library dream? Does anyone remember? I know we searched around, we found an exit, and we made our way to the exit. There was a computer that we did not use all of. Maybe we should have done more research on the computer. We did succeed, though. And we got a librarian in our slumber deck. And let me just show you how the dream ended. Here was the ending of our dream, which tells us we can pop out onto the dream world anywhere. The librarian came back to our slumber deck, but we did get this happiness preserved on a piece of paper. Oh, here's a return to the library, I guess. Smiles frozen in time, dimmed emotions, detailed blurred out. So we'll have to decide what dream to go into today, but I guess this is not really a return to the library because all the returns are these greens and they're called return to, return to, return to. So I guess we closed down the library. We didn't burn it down or anything, so I'm not sure why it closed down to us, but it did close down to us. We got new shopping cards. We have 3 ether, so we don't have that much to go shopping with. What I was just looking in the rule book was about shopping for items. So let me remind you of a rule because we haven't taken advantage of it. In fact, we've come up with our own house rule. And it works something like this. Remember, when you move around this map, you are not supposed to be able, like if we go to the shopping place, we can't just sit there for 3 turns and go shop, go shop, go shop. The rule is every turn you have to move and then do the action. But we could cycle through, but we've come up with a house rule that lets us spend all of these at the same time. And so each one would normally let us draw 3 cards and purchase them. And then we could go shopping again if we cycled back and choose from 3 cards, choose from 3 cards. What we've been doing is saying, okay, we're going to spend all 3 at the same time and choose from 9 cards, which is all fine and well when we have lots of ether to spend. But if you'll remember, when you go shopping, you also have the option of, instead of choosing influence cards to buy, you can draw an item. Or if you don't want to buy anything, you can just take a take an ether or take a gem. Okay, so here is shopping. Draw the top 3 cards of the influence market, buy any number of them. That actually does not have a full... Generally, I think these rules are pretty good, but that is weird in that that doesn't really explain it, the full rules of shopping. Okay, here are the full rules of shopping. Instead of drawing 3 cards, you can draw 1 item and gain it for 2 ether. If you don't buy any cards, you gain a blue gem. So in that case, you could imagine that we would want to go shopping with one of these and like get an item with another and get a blue gem with another. The blue gem is a small thing, but it's not nothing and it doesn't cost you any ether. So, but having to cycle back to that shopping center is not very pleasing. I've reset everything. We've got a shotgun with 2 charges. I'm going to start using these purple cubes. And here's another rule thing that's a little bit unusual for us. So we did this for, I think this was no, it wasn't our first time, but one of the first couple times we've used this power to skip a slumber. And every time you skip a slumber using this continuous dream mode, you put a little token on this so that it will eventually trigger delta phase, because you're not normally going through the slumbers like normal. But it doesn't say it on this card, but the rules actually seem to tell you that card, the tokens on that card seem to disappear when you go into a dream. When you enter a dream, discard this card and tokens on it, and then place it back after the dream ends. It's a little bit ambiguous, but it's a little bit bizarre, because it means you're never going to trigger delta phase unless you have 8 slumbers in a row before going in a dream. So that's unpleasant, because delta phase is so important. And if you do normal slumbers, you wouldn't be resetting. So I don't think we're going to... I think we're going to house rule this like we've been house ruling other things occasionally, which I think we've earned the right to do after 13 episodes and so many more to go. So I am not going to clear these tokens. After we do 8 of these and suffer a combined 8 distress or whatever, I'm going to let us trigger delta phase. And I especially am keen on this mystery path advancing. So I'm not going to clear this every time. We also, don't forget, have our emergency delta button that we can press when we think we're ready to find out what's going on. We have 3 sealed cards, and our deck is almost empty. So we are going to be sealing some more cards when we reshuffle very soon. We're allowed to start anywhere. I'm almost inclined to start by going shopping, but with 3 ether, I'm not thrilled with only shopping with 3 ether. But maybe if we have 1 key, we're going to have to get more keys. Maybe we can do what we did before, plan to go shopping at the end when we have all the keys, then maybe we'll have some more ether. So I think, as normal, the thing for us to do first is to decide which dream to enter. So, all right. So, does anyone have any particular dream they're interested in? Here are the 3 new dreams, and then the rest are returned to. So here's the dream we just got from finishing the library. Happiness preserved on a piece of paper. No hint about what we might get, and it's a 4-key dream. And going in it, you only cure 1 distress. But we are in pretty good health, so it might be time for us to do a difficult one that only cures 1 distress. We have no idea what this dream is about. No idea, but it is a longer dream. It's 12 turns. All right. Or we could go to this dream that we've had for a while, which is about flying away, perhaps on a flying air balloon. No mention of monsters on this dream. That doesn't mean there won't be any entities, but here we know there's going to be entities coming after us. And then we have the ship in the basement. Might be inclined to go for this one. It's only 2 keys. It's the easiest one. We already have 1 key. And we have had it for a while. But maybe the group feels like Today is the day when we should return to one of our previous missions. The foggy docks, the endless basement, where does the train go? But it seems like we should probably just go all new dreams until we run out, don't you think? That feels like the logical thing for us to do is to cycle through all the new dreams and then start returning to dreams. So I guess I don't have a strong preference about which of these new dreams to go into. Four keys, three keys, two keys. I mean, we already have one key, so we would be able to get into this right away. But if we want to go shopping, maybe we shouldn't be trying to go into this right away. It cures 2 distress. That would cure our full distress, assuming we don't get more distress, which we are going to get. Jonathan says, I'd go with the airship or ship in the basement. Might airship unlock the last square on our map? Why do I have all the squares on our map? Why do I have them all? Do I have this and shouldn't have it? Or was it this one? All of our squares are unlocked, unless you think there's 2 more here, but I don't think there are. So either I messed up and gave us a card when I shouldn't, but I have to assume that I did it properly, so we don't have any more to unlock on our dream world. All right, well, you tell me. Do you want higher and higher or ship in the basement? Where is Haven? Okay, you're saying this is in Profundum and this is in Pandemonium. So what are you asking about? There's Profundum. One is in Profundum and one is in Pandemonium. Haven is missing off the map. The one we're supposed to be missing is Phantasmagoria. Oh, you're saying I'm missing a card. Ooh, ouch. I'm missing a card, you're saying. There's one more card. Oh, this was bound to happen, wasn't it? Uh-huh. You're saying somewhere in my transport, I have lost one of our cards. Well, I don't have... I can go look for it on the next block. You're talking about not Haven, but Horizon. The railroad one that you can only get to by railroad. Okay, I have to find it. This is the version 1 of the map, I think. Yeah, this is version 1. So this isn't quite our version, but it'll do for now, and then I'll try to find it when we come back. But thankfully, we don't need it for now. But thank you for spotting that. All right, what's it going to be? Higher and higher or a ship discovered in the basement? I don't really have a preference here. They both cure 2. One takes 2 keys, one takes 3 keys. We never did get Phantasmagoria, so we are missing one, yes. But we have both of these. Higher and higher, says Jonathan. Okay, here is our dream we are going into. We need 3 keys. Maybe we'll fly away from here in a balloon. All right, so we need to get to Profundum with 3 keys. So here is Profundum. There is the gate we have to end up at. We need 2 more keys. Is there any loops here that we can take? Any simple loops? There is a little sanctuary. So you could imagine we start here. We could go get a key, have a slumber. That's not really the right order, is it? I wouldn't mind. Okay, here's what I think we should do. We should plan on coming here with 3 keys through this route. So we'll do our last bit of shopping, hit here, and then enter the dream here. So before we do that, we need 2 more keys. So it makes sense to get 1 here and then go here and go shopping. So we need 1 more key before we get here. I wonder if that shouldn't be this key. So we get a key, slumber. We come here for sanctuary, get a key, slumber, come shop, and then do it. I think that's the way to go. I think that's the way to go. And then we'll have 2 sanctuaries on the way. And the sanctuaries, you'll remember, are useful because they let us unseal cards or restore an item. And we have no items. So that's actually pretty good for us. I think we should try to remember to get the penguin out today if we can. All right, so we're going to pop us out of our dream here, and then we're going to walk up here to this gate, but we're not going to go in. We're just going to get ourselves a key. And when we get a key at a gate, we have to draw a slumber card. Here is our slumber, the shapeless. I'm not sure we've fought these guys before. I don't think we have fought these guys before. So let's take a moment and appreciate them and decide how we want to handle this. Starts out with 3 shapeshifters on our tiny little dream map. If you have no red progress cards, you just end the slumber before it even begins. But we do have a red progress card. We have a shotgun. Now, how do we get rid of these 3 shapeshifters? We have to do a 6 red assault, a wrath, to kill a shapeless. When they're all killed, we have victory. That's going to be difficult for us. We got 4 turns to do it in, but that is a little difficult for us to do this in 4 turns. What is the penalty? You seal all flipped cards when you're out of turns. So 4 turns, right now we only have 1 flipped card that would get sealed, so not a big deal, but you can see their action is to flip cards. So they're going to make us flip cards, and we're in very tight quarters with them. This is going to be difficult for us. Jonathan says that the shapeless are the result of the mill we blew up in the swamp. I would be So what we've agreed that we're going to try not to skip creatures we haven't fought yet, and we haven't fought these. So we're going to, well, all right, so I have two questions for you. One is whether we should try to use one of our deliverances. The other question is, are we allowed to discard a progress card by choice? Like, could we discard this and then, because we have no red cards out, do this? But I don't believe you can. I might have a faint memory that you are not allowed to voluntarily get rid of a progress card. The other thing we could try to do is a deliverance on one of these, which is very tempting. But we don't have any cards in hand or items, so it may be hard for us to generate enough to use a deliverance on these people, but we are going to have a hard time fighting them. Let's see. Do you intimidate the shapeless? It says we should be looking for clues here. We sense you. And if you don't have assault, if you don't have any wrath progress, if you're not an angry, wrathful person, you can end the slumber. Does that mean these people we shouldn't be trying to intimidate, but we should try to make friends with? We'll never generate this without cards. What about this? Should we try this with the shapeless? I'm laying down my weapon. I trust you won't hurt me either. It kind of seems like maybe that's what you should do with the shapeless. I don't know. They are hurting us. We sense you. We could also try to understand them. Contact 10. That would take us some time to do. This would cost us an ether. 2 morphings. I mean, that could be deadly for us. This is a fascinating mechanic where you're adding morphings before you read this. So it's like, if it doesn't end the scenario, then you're going to be facing some very powerful creatures, which is a very cool idea. Jonathan says, I think we should house rule the deliverance and let ourselves always try to understand each other as a little free thing. Contact 10 or discard 2 keys. Now, we do have 2 keys. This is a very interesting idea. We could discard our 2 keys in order to try to understand these shapeless. Deception, intimidation, open yourself. Jonathan says in the future, maybe we should allow ourselves to always do this. I kind of like that idea. If we did this, we'd have to circle around and get ourselves 2 more keys, but I'm almost tempted to try this on them. Why are you doing this? Have you ever thought about it? Like, they seem a little confused. We think these might be the dead ghosts of the people we blew up. Is it worth 2 keys to do this? Because I think the only way we're going to be able to pay for this is with 2 keys. Because we're not going to draw 4 cards. 10 contact. But I suppose if we could get away from them for a couple turns, we might. All right, why don't we not overthink it? Let's take our time. Let's get out this map here. Let's put out our slumber map and do it properly. So you'll remember that we begin every starting slumber with just these two cards out. So let's just go through this. We're not going to skip it. That's what we've agreed. So let's just go ahead and do this. We'll set up and then we'll decide if we want to try to negotiate with these shapeless. 4 turns, 1, 2, 3, 4. We do have a couple extra hours, but not much. I'd like to refresh that. So here's our first turns. The first turn is going to look like this. If we're standing on a space with them, we would flip a card and suffer a distress. Then they're going to morph, and then they're going to move. So we'll definitely be able to survive the first round. And they're all 3 of them are going to come out right here. So, and then they're going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. So actually, if we just stay out of the way, we could get by 2 turns. That might be enough to draw enough cards to do this. We only have to wait them out, in fact. But they are going to morph. All right, let's try to do this. So let's start ourselves far away from these people up here. Let's draw our cards. 1, 2, 3. Then we're out of cards. We have to reshuffle. We're going to take a distress for that. While I'm doing this, I want you to think about whether you want to try to deliverance these people. I suppose deliverance doesn't have to be done yet. It just has to be done before you do any assault. And I don't think we are going to be doing any assault. And then if we are going to deliverance, I guess you got a choice. The things that make the most sense to me are one of these 2. We'll be able to open ourselves, lay down our weapon. The other thing is that we have an ability to unflip our own cards. So even if they flip some, we could use our ability to flip our own back as long as we end this game. We end these 4 turns. What the hell? That's not a card, is it? It's an item. This should be in our items. I've done that multiple times, haven't I? Any more items I've stuck in here? No. Okay. It's the one time when leaving cards, when you're playing a deck builder, can be sort of useful sometimes. Having a hard time shuffling these very stiff cards. All right, so we've paid to refresh our deck. We've drawn 4 cards. We've got our ladder, which would let us jump from a dark space. However, we're starting in a light space. One, two, three, four, 5. We have no blue gems, so we almost have enough green to do this, although it would cost us an ether. But we know we can survive this first round. So probably we do nothing, right? I mean, no matter what we want to do, it probably helps us to draw a bigger hand here. So let's just pass here. Let's pass. Then let's trigger this. So each dreamer in range. Oh, I gotta put out the creatures, don't I? All right, so we know how this goes. It says to use creature shapeshifters, but when that happens, we grab our own. So let's just bring these as our creature shapeshifters today. 3 of them. Creature shapeshifter, huh? All right, that guy's too big. Okay. So 3 creature shapeshifters. Which you can see here. Here's what they look like. Okay, so then they morph. Okay, this is the part I don't like. +1 distress. So anytime we would suffer a distress, we were going to suffer an extra distress. Now that means we'd suffer 2. But they're only in range 0, so they have to be right on top of us to cause us this damage. All right, that's the... Oh, and then they move. Okay, so this one first moves the full 3. 1, 2, 3. This one just moves 1 space. And this one moves 3 and goes again. 1, 2, 3 and goes again. This is not good that they're splitting up. Okay, and then 3. 1, 2 right on top of us. Luckily that was done last. So you can see why this is so dangerous though. Because this slumber map is so small, there is no place for us to hide. So we could be in for some trouble here. Let's take a look at our next turn. It's our next turn. They're going to move and then they're going to flip cards and distress us, and then they're going to morph. Now, there is a very important rule that we need to make sure we understand. Even if 3 of these people are on us, it's only going to happen once. So the worst that's going to happen to us here is that we're going to take 2 distress and flip 1 progress card. However, these are going to be sealed by the time we end, so that's not good. But there is no way we can do 3 assaults on these. Let me look at the chat in a second, but before I do want to think about something for a second. So I said I thought the rules say you can't discard a progress card voluntarily. I believe that's true. And it seems like this rule, don't you read this as saying, like, we can't do this in the middle of the slumber, right? Like, if we have no red progress cards in the middle of a slumber, that doesn't help us, right? Because that says this is for before it begins. So I don't think, I was just thinking we could use the shotgun, which causes it to flip, which would mean we'd have no more red progress cards, but I don't think we can end the dream then. Well, let me draw my 4 cards. Remember, we've got an extra hand size because of our mask, so 3, 4. The ability is not on this card, so we can't flip this even if we wanted to, but let's see what we've got. Getaway, need more time, effort, and uncontrolled flight. Okay, and what does Getaway do again? Flip one of your progress cards or return this card to the influence market. Entities ignore your dreamer during the resolution of the current dreamscape phase. So this would buy us an entire turn if we use this card, because they would ignore us. And I almost would be inclined to do this no matter what, just so that we can get our hours back reset. I think we should, don't you think? Like, we don't know when we're going to need these hours, and we're not hitting Delta anytime soon. So I'm inclined to use this just to get our hours back to 6. And then the question is, do we use this to buy ourselves a turn? We would certainly flip a card. Could certainly kill some of these people. I mean, if we ignored them for one turn, we've got enough charge on this shotgun that each one of these charges does 1, 2, 3 damage. So we could kill someone with the shotgun, and then doesn't really help us though. All right, let's see what the chat thinks. Trying to understand each other gives a hint about which of the other deliverance to use. I think the odds are it will end the slumber, but not permanently remove the entity I see. I'm just not sure if we want to spend the resources to get a hint about a deliverance that we might have to wait until the entity comes back around. Maybe we should house rule about taking the hint. I know we don't normally take hints, not sure there's a way to really reason about it. Let's seal the hours. Okay, let's start there. So I'm going to use this card to seal this card to give us 3 hours, because that's what that card is for. The hours are very useful, and when that card comes up, we're going to use it so that we now have 6 full hours if we need it. So try to understand each other. 10 or discard 2 keys. Right now we have 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think we would have to do... I think we would have to use our 2 keys for this. I mean, surely we should pay for it the first time we use it, Jonathan, and then decide if in the future we want to use this with a house rule. One, two, three. This guy probably can't make it to us during his move. One, two, three, four, five. One, two, three, 6. I mean, we could kill these 2 creatures on this turn. We would suffer a little distress. And then this guy wouldn't be able to make it to us, probably. That would give us another turn, and maybe we would be able to kill him. But to do that, I would have to take distress from these cards. I'm not sure that we could actually draw enough cards to get 10 green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We already have 6. And our hand size is almost maxed out. We've got 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can only draw 2 more cards. We'd have to get rid of cards. I'm actually curious now about this dark room. Let me just get this out for a second. 235B. We've been in this dark room a bunch. Let's say we get out the dark room and we stay in there. You can't stay in there. It automatically kicks you out. Automatically kicks you out at the end of the turn. Okay, so that doesn't really help us. I was just thinking, I was wondering if there's a penalty for staying in there and maybe we could stay in there. Shall we just spend the 2 keys? All right, I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to spend the 2 keys. And then if that doesn't end the dream here, Jonathan, we have a backup plan we can put into action. All right, this is like an experiment. We're spending 2 keys for the privilege of understanding this deliverance card. And hopefully it'll be enough to know how to do this in the future. Although it really feels like 10 contact is a lot more valuable. I mean, it's a lot cheaper than 2 keys. Let me just think for 1 second before I spend these keys. But because we can use this to flip a card and have 1 more turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if we threw away this card, 3, 4, 5. Then we could draw our full 4. And maybe we could get 10. But boy, that would be a long shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It would be nice to not have to spend those. Not going to help us much. What would we flip, though? Boy, this is so dangerous, because if we end this and lose these cards... What is the chance we're gonna... what I'm trying to think, in case it's not clear, is that we might be able to get 10 green. In which case, boy, would it be nice to do 10 green instead of keys. But actually, we're on a space where we could loop and get more keys at a pretty cheap cost. All right, let me just remember where we are. All right, let's just spend the keys, and then at least we'll have cards in hand rather than spending all of them. Here we go. We're spending 2 keys. I'm just doing it. All right, here we go. We're trying to understand the shapeless. And now we're going to see what is it worth 2 keys to understand this card, which is crazy, but we've done it. It's too late. We've done it. Let's see what happens. So the deliverance for these people is 486. And now it's going to ask us which deliverance we use, and we use the understand. Try to understand each other. Why are you doing this? Have you ever thought about it? When these monsters are around, our thoughts turn to dirt and disgust. We want to immerse ourselves in them, lose ourselves completely. Nothing else matters. The shapeless tempts us to cheat others and to cheat ourselves. We didn't ever do anything wrong, did we? Maybe once, but we had to. Today we will gain, and tomorrow we will forget. The face in the mirror is someone else's. These voices, thanks to you, my life is easier, I think. Are you my friends? Gain 1 blue and continue. Okay, this was terrible, but this was Jonathan's thing. Okay, the slumber does not end, so we are still in the middle of it. It has not gotten worse. It has not gotten better. Now, the interesting thing is 2 things. First of all, I'm inclined to now use Jonathan's house rule about we're always allowed to do this. It seems like maybe it is giving us a little bit of an insight. But it seems like maybe these people are our friends. And if so, does that mean this is how we should befriend them? Not with rage, but with being friends. But it tempts us to cheat others and cheat ourselves. We didn't ever do anything wrong, did we? Maybe once. I mean, we could... Is it saying we should deceive them, or is it saying that we should befriend them? It's not much help. And unfortunately, now we're in a bit of a bind because we've spent 2 keys and it's not over yet. We're going to have to survive this on our own. So let's talk about it. We do have enough to do this. We could do this right now. add 2 morphings and resolve the script, this could end it if we are properly, if we're doing the right thing. If this fails, we're going to be in terrible trouble. But we do have the green to pay for this. We do have an alternative. Our alternative would be to kill these people, which we probably can do. We can kill one of them with a shotgun. This guy's not going to be able to reach us. 1, 2, 3 in one turn. So we could kill one with a shotgun, and then we could take one distress. 3, 4, 5, 6. We could kill another one with just taking one distress. So we could kill 2 of them right now. It would cost us 1 distress. This guy wouldn't be able to get to us. We would survive yet another turn. Probably get enough red to be able to kill the last one. So the real question is whether you want to pay an ether to try to make friends with these people, but if we make a mistake, we're in huge amount of trouble. Otherwise, we can kill them. But if this fails, we will have given up an ether and 6 of our green, which we desperately need. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, that would be giving up the cards we need to kill them. If this fails, boy, if this fails, we're in a lot of trouble. The wise thing to do is to just shotgun these people to death. I mean, I don't like paying an ether, even if they are friends and go away. But you think we took the hint, huh? We could use the gem to keep one of our effort cards. It's true, but then we won't have a gem in case this guy moves extra. But I guess it won't kill us. All right, Jonathan, we're in for a penny. We're in for a pound. We're going to use that hint to try to make friends with these people to get rid of them from the entire deck. That's our theory. Boy, this could backfire terribly. This is so risky. Are we sure that's what the hint is telling us? They tempt us to cheat others and cheat ourselves. Today we'll gain, tomorrow we'll forget. These voices, thanks to you, my life is easier, I think. Are you my friends? We want to immerse ourselves in them, lose ourselves completely. Are you my friends? I guess it's saying we shouldn't kill our friends. All right, we're going to do this. Boy, this could horribly backfire. It's also costing us an ether. I really don't like that. All right, but we want to use deliverance. Let's do it. There's an ether. I'm paying the ether. A 6 contact. All right, well, we don't need the ladder, really. Because they're all in here. 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've paid 6 green and I've paid an ether. Yikes. I've retained the ability to shotgun these all to hell if we have to. Alright, well, here's where we see how much Etherfields, how much we like this. Adding 2 morphings. Which is insane in and of itself, but hopefully we don't have to actually face these. Alright, they're going to move 2 further. And 2 more further. Okay, so they're instantly going to reach us from anywhere. All right, and here we go. We're doing the deliverance once again. So here we are. This could be the highest drama of the campaign. It could be. So we've chosen open yourself up to these creatures. Look, I'm laying down my weapon. I trust you won't hurt me either. We could only do it if we haven't done assault yet. All right, that's all true. John says, should we break for suspense? I wish I had read that, but it's too late. Yes, that's right. The shapeless slurs into our ears, its fetid breath caressing our faces. Embrace us. Embrace our strength. Your life will be easier with us. And then the horrors are gone. But are we still ourselves? The impurity is floating in our thoughts. It's extremely attractive, and when we lean towards it, all boundaries seem to melt away. Whatever we want must be ours. That is the only law. The slumber ends without victory or failure, although it cost us 2 keys and an ether. Jonathan was right, but Jonathan was wrong. Something has changed, and we think it's for the worse. So we don't have to face the shapeless anymore. Instead, we have to face the fearsome shapeless, who are worse. So it has cost us hugely, and we've made things worse. That is the Etherfield ethos. But it is a cool story, and now we know. Next time, everyone's getting a shotgun right to the face. No more making friends. No more making friends. These people do not want to be made friends with. Now they've got me angry. 238G. These ungrateful creatures. Alright, so we've got a new slumber creature. It goes at the bottom of the deck. We're working our way towards our delta phase. But boy, did that hurt. We lost an ether. We lost 2 keys. Craziness. How do you feel about that, Jonathan? But we learned something. I suppose we look at the other deliverances. I just want to know what it wanted us to do to help reason about the future. Catherine says, out from working, I thought that was going to end differently. Oof. I suggest we look at the other deliverances. Okay, so what Jonathan is saying is that dream is over. Those shapeless are gone. So since we're never going to see them again, what Jonathan is saying, let's use this moment, since we've done 2 of these deliverances on the shapeless, let's read what these 3 would have done on the shapeless and see if we can't make sense of the hint. Okay. So the other, let's do it. The other one that looked like it might be, only because the shapeless are gone, we're never going to see them again. But it looked like it was talking about cheating, so maybe it was thinking it was giving us a hint that we should deceive them. We cheat, we lie, everything to achieve our goal. All right, so if we had done that to them, that would have been deception deliverance. So what would have happened if we'd done deception deliverance on them? "Don't try this with me," the shapeless whispers, "or do you want to see what real deception looks like? Suddenly the monster takes my form, except with an ugly, crooked smile and a repulsive, ghastly appearance. Then I realize it's a mirror." So we would have gained a gem and continued. All right, and what if instead of deception, what if we had tried intimidation? So we just click this, we go back here. Okay, so what if we had tried intimidation, which is this one, an assault of 10, which actually would have been achievable. We stop running and stand resolute before the crawling horror. It quivers under our harsh look, screeching and weeping. You don't know what you're doing. You won't survive without me. You need me more than anything. Eventually it goes away discouraged and fades into the darkness, but we are sure it did not go away for long. It will come back, that's for sure. So we would have gotten victory in that case, which would have gotten a little bit of loot, but we'd still have to face them again. So far, the path we took was the only thing that got rid of them, but we got rid of them for the worse. And then the last one would be, what if we had done rage? Rage is the very expensive deliverance card. We stand over a shapeless mass of flesh. Our clothes are soaked in blood. Our skin stinks horribly, but we feel a little purer and lighter. We got rid of something that weighed heavily on our hearts and tempted us to do vile things. What we abhor in others is sometimes the most difficult to eradicate in ourselves. We won't do it all at once, but it's a step forward. So we would have gained an influence card. We would have gained a power. That was the way we were supposed to end this, and gotten rid of them. Now, how were we to know that that we should have attacked these people? John says, I find it very funny we were supposed to inflict more violence on the remaining victims of the mill. Yeah. All right, well, we have learned a little bit, but I'll tell you what we're going to do. The result of this experience is we are going to adopt Jonathan's house rule. From now on, when we enter a slumber, we are going to allow ourselves to, each new slumber, we're going to allow ourselves to do a free understand action. That will give us a hint, which seems to be not very useful. And I am curious to see what these advanced shapeless are like, but all that cost wasn't for nothing. We have learned that we don't trust Etherfield ethos, and we're going to use this as our free house rule in the future. With that said, we are now back on our world map. We've lost all our keys. We've lost one of our ether. That was insane. But we are at a great loop spot, so we can actually get those keys back pretty soon. So we'll take our 8-minute break here. This looks like it's going to be a, Sherlock Holmes has the 3 pipe cases. That's when he's in a really difficult case. I think what we're looking at tonight is like a 2-hour slumber, 2-hour dream world slumber period, or a 3-hour dream world slumber before we get into an actual dream. All right. Well, we're taking a break. I'll see you in 8 minutes. We are back from our first break here. I could not find the proper Horizon card. And so we have to worry a little bit about this if I don't find it soon, and make sure I'm aware of the differences. I put a little sticker on it to remind us. Luckily, we don't think we need to be going there anytime soon, but we obviously have to find the version 2 version of this card before our next session. Hopefully I can do that. Okay, so we're back out of the slumber. We've lost an ether. We've lost 2 keys. We need to get 3. So our plan has changed a little bit. Thankfully, we're in pretty good health. And thankfully, we're on a loop here that is going to allow us to get as many keys as we want, just eating a little bit of fate. So let's go ahead and do that. But before we do, let's catch up. We were having a little discussion about those shapeless creatures. I was saying it didn't make any sense. It seemed like the hint was telling us not to attack them. Jonathan was saying, I guess they were trying to tempt us to cheat others. We didn't really understand that, but to be honest, I sort of feel like taking in the info they came from the mill sort of led to the wrong line of thinking. I was thinking it would revolve around them wanting us, or thinking they want revenge. Yeah, it was a little confusing. But it was all worth it because now we know we're going to get the free insight. At least we don't have to pay for a bad hint. All right, so back to our game. We're going to go here. We're going to draw a fate card. So this is our old shop. Remember, we're supposed to take a random tile card. know if we should be shuffling these and add it to the Dream Slumber map. If it's got a space, it does not. So draw and place a slumber tile. If there's a space, put this card here. Okay, that's unfortunate because we would have liked to go there and rob it. So this card doesn't come out, but this slumber tile does. And I believe that this slumber tile might be one that Ghost Drive was telling us he thinks he saw one of our symbols. How many times have we failed to get the old shop onto a space in the slumber? A lot. We have failed a lot. For better or worse. So, do we have a symbol card for that, or am I misremembering that? It was one of these cards. One of these cards that Ghost Drive was saying he recognized, but where would it have been? Maybe the 13th stream is cursed? Jonathan, don't say that. It's not this one. It's not this one. I don't see it. It's like lots of... It's not this, is it? Guess it's a little hard to see it with that zoom, isn't it? Is that any better? It's not this one, right? Remember, these are all life size, so it almost looks like this, but this has got too much black. I do see a little pipe here. This must not have been it, because I don't see anything here for us. Lots of stairs and bricks. Okay, I don't see it. So this goes into our dream map. And we are back out. And we can go back here, get a key. Now we have one of the 3 keys we need. And we can get another slumber. The arch entrance with the... You think this is a match for this, huh? Okay, you show me. The arch entrance here, you think is a match for this? I think you're right. I think you're right, and Ghost Drive was right, and I didn't see it, but yes, you're absolutely right. And Kit Catherine spotted it. All right, so we did, thanks to Ghost Drive for telling us to look for it. Even looking for it, I couldn't find it, but the channel came through. So let us read 1088. This is where we're going to make up for all our lost stuff. We shake the lantern so hard that the light breaks off, falling and shattering into small pieces. Distribute all available blue gems between dreamers. That's huge because we have none. We have none, and now we are getting all of them. Stun an entity in range. So I guess it intended us to spot that once we were in it. But you know how we do this rule. We decided that if we get one of these outside of a world environment, we are going to take it with us into our backpack. and use it when we get in there. All right, so that was pretty huge. Stun an entity in range. Okay, that's huge. I mean, all those blue gems, that's incredible. We have found a lot of symbols so far. That's been our saving grace here. Okay, we came back up there. We took a key, and now we have to draw another slumber. I almost want to meet those fearsome shapeless people. All right, let's see what we've got here. The Crying Shadow. I believe we have dealt with these people before, which means we are allowed to skip them, but let's see what we've got here. So a creature comes out, you've got 2 turns to deal with them. All you have to do is make contact once with 6 green, and we get victory. And if we assault them for 8, we gain an ether. So these are kind of people that are useful for us to fight. However, I'm now remembering a little bit about how this works. Like, the moment they take their turn, they end this slumber, right? Like, they discard a thing. If there's nothing in there, it's over. And then if it ends, if we don't survive 2 turns, then we're going to take a flaw and lose all of our ether. Pretty painful. Now, remember our new house rule. We are allowed to do the try to understand each other deliverance with every new creature. So let's go and try to understand these people for free. 336. And we are just trying to understand. All right, here we go. I recognize this face, this cry. I didn't want to do that. It can't be true. If we didn't want to, we wouldn't have done it. But we did, and we didn't even look back. For many years, we've tried to forget with every fiber of our being, and we almost succeeded. So why is it coming back now? Hey, you, are you haunting me here in this strange world of shadows as a form of punishment? Or maybe it's that I'm the one haunting you. I think that now I know what you really are. Gain a blue gem and continue the slumber. All right, so we're not going to even, we have all the blue gems, so we can't gain one. I think maybe even if we didn't, we shouldn't get this because we're doing this for free. But here is our hint for how to deal with this, how to deliverance this crying shadow. We're in these dream worlds as sort of, we've got a bad past of trauma. So how would we, if we wanted to deliverance this shadow, what approach do you think we would take? Are you haunting me or am I haunting you? I recognize this face. I didn't want to do that. We've tried to forget. We almost succeeded. This feels like forgiveness would be the solution, right? I know what you really are. So Jonathan says, let's hear what Isara and Kit think, but Jonathan says this one should be about opening ourselves, accepting the past. So if we wanted to do that, it would be this one that we would do. A 6 contact and an ether. And we could even assault them to gain an ether. But we couldn't assault them to gain an ether and then do this because you're not allowed to do this after an assault. So that's very interesting. All right, well, I guess we're not going to skip this, right? I think we should do this just because we should be able to we should be able to succeed at this and maybe gain some stuff. So this is like an all slumber session. So let's bring out the slumber and deal with these creatures. We've only got 2 turns to do it, and maybe we're gonna try to make friends with them and come to peace with our past. It's a little hard to know if that's really what we should do. I don't want to lose all our ether and take a slumber. I mean, take a law, but okay. Only 2 turns, but we have ours if we need it. The first turn is going to look like this. Okay, this is pretty good for us because look. I have B1 in the B4 spot. Sorry, I don't know why I keep doing that. All right, so look why this is good for us. Basic effect, move basic effect. The basic effect just says if there's no generic token on the entity, then it ends the mission. Actually, this is bad because they're going to move away to some place we don't know, and then they're going to check that again. That's actually terrible. I changed my mind. So 1 creature shapeshifter starts here, and we start where we left off last time, which was here. So in order for us to not end this miserably, we are going to have to put a marker on this, but it can be done at range 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can actually do it from here. We could spend 2 yellows to drop a marker on here. But now the problem is he's going to move towards us. He normally moves relocate furthest from dreamers. Actually, he's just going to stay in this space. Okay. Then actually it's fine for us. We're going to spend 2 yellow, drop a marker in his space, and then he's just going to stay there. There's no other spawn spot. So because this map is so small, he's always going to stay and spawn here. And that's all he ever does. So we just have to keep dropping tokens on this and we're fine. And we are close enough to him. Now, if this was a bigger map, then he could spawn very far away and we'd have trouble reaching it. Okay, we're going to be fine. So we are going to succeed in this. Surely we'll be able to contact it and get victory. So let's try to end it on a loot we want. We could unseal 3 cards if we end it with this one, which would be good. But it might be nice to gain an ether. But I wonder if we don't want to try to do this. We should be able to... do this safely. All right, we're going to go ahead and do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our hand. We've got this card on top, so we could spend 3 green to flip this card, if one of our progress cards, if we wanted to, which is our assistant, which lets us put new cards easier. But we could use our shotgun and be able to get ourselves an ether. Now notice you don't kill it though, so we still have to contact it in the end. But I think we're going to come out of this fine. All right, let's see what we've got here. All right, we've got some cool cards here. We've got Tactics. which attacks all entities in range if we got it out. That's a good card for us to get out eventually. We've got a new card that lets us find an item in the water. And there is water over here if we wanted to go do that. But I think probably that's not going to be for us this time. Contact has to be done near it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and gems. So we have enough to have a victory, and he's not going anywhere. So we're okay. We're going to be fine. But as long as we put something on his space. And remember, the next turn card could be much worse for us. This one is just particularly easy because it doesn't discard anything. So the first thing we have to do is spend 2 to get him to get a marker on his space so we don't lose immediately. Probably we're not going to want to use, well, these are greens. Getaway is pretty great. Ignore you. They're not going to, it doesn't really matter for this mission. So I guess I'm going to, although we might have other slumbers here. What is this card? Poison an entity in range or gain 6 wrath. And then roll the luck die. Well, this is a good time to get this. This is actually a good time to get this because we've got so many blue gems to re-roll, but we could also use it as its 2. We could use it to gain 6 wrath would let us gain an extra ether. That's very tempting. Now, do you remember what poison does? We also have the stun action. This is really a slumber session here. Okay. Poison means they're unable to gain new morphings until the end of the turn. So it doesn't really help us for these people. But 6 wrath, that's pretty exciting because if every 8 we generate, we can get an ether. So I think what we want to do is get over to this guy, put a marker, and then assault him like twice and get ourselves 2 ether. I'm not opposed to doing the deliverance, but I think we should... Oh, I don't know now. Like, you really want to do this before we assault and spend an ether when I could generate ether? I think I'm going to have to assault this guy after the last one. We could try to make friends with him later. I think now we got to get our revenge out. So I think what I want to do is I want to use uncontrolled flight to get over there because I'd rather not have to walk 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to use this. We're going to roll the luck die, and we're going to see, and we've got blue gems to move if we have to. Okay, that's a 3. Relocate to any space. That's perfect for us. So we're going to relocate right to this person. Surprise. And now we're going to do some assaulting and get ourselves some ether. And then we've got to make sure we have enough to place a marker. And then we sort of want to contact it. So I'm going to go ahead and generate these assaults. Assault could be within 1, but we're right on top of it. Okay, we're going to fire the shotgun at least twice. 1 charge, or flip this card to gain 1 plus the number of yellow progress. Oh, sorry, you can't see that. The number of yellow progress cards. So 1 charge gives us 1 plus 2 plus 3. Is this also yellow? No, that's green. And we don't have a yellow progress card. Okay, fine. but we have 2. So each charge generates 3. So I'm going to fire 2 charges. That's 6, 7, 8. That's going to be an assault of 8. That's going to get us an ether. This guy is like a little, like a Super Mario Brothers thing we punch to get coins out of. Okay, but that's both of the charges lost on our shotgun. And a gem. Probably when we reset, we should have added another charge there. That's okay. And now I'm inclined to do something similar again. I'm inclined to try to get another ether. How was I going to do that? Yes, this way. I want to do this. I'm going to gain 6 assault from this card. Add a gem to it. That gives us 8 more assault. And with that, we're going to gain another ether. And these are so we can go shopping with our ethers. I mean, we spent ethers to try to make friends with these deliverances. Now we're getting them back. Okay, but now we have to roll the luck die and we might lose this. However, we've got enough gems that we can re-roll. So it's a blank, which would force us to return it. So we're going to spend a gem to re-roll. And that keeps us safe. So that was worth it. Too bad we had to roll a dice, but that card is amazing. We've hit this thing for 2 ether. And now we could just victory it right now. I suppose unless we're planning on assaulting this more, it makes sense to just get our victory now. Note we can't do this anymore because we did an assault action, which Jonathan wanted me to not do, but I had to get those ethers back for us. So the only reason not to have victory now, to wait until the next turn, would be to fill up our hand more or to get the next loot. So let's see, is this the victory we want? Unseal the top 3 cards or gain 3 hours? Well, we can't gain 3 hours, but I'll tell you what, we do have 4 cards sealed, so we would benefit from that unsealing, whereas we don't know what the benefits of this turn would be. So I'm inclined to get our victory right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we would have to use one of our gems to generate 6 green curiosity. You're not sure if we get loot? Interesting. It does say victory, but it doesn't say loot. Interesting. You have a point there. It doesn't say loot. Well, in that case, I wonder if we shouldn't... Well, what would be the advantage of stretching it out another turn? Seven, 8, 9. We could take 3 more cards. We could prep more. It might allow us to flip a card. We're not in any danger. We just have to waste 2 cards to drop a thing on him. I don't think it's worth it. I think we might as well do it now, no matter what. Just because otherwise it costs us 2 extra yellow just to put a token there. To make it last another turn. let's not overthink it. Let's just go ahead and, although I'd love to be able to use this. All right. Let's make it last one more turn. I'm going to spend a gem because we were going to have to spend a gem anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I'm going to spend a gem to drop a marker on this space. That's this action. A gem to generate 2 yellow. Then we're going to stop. Then the enemy is going to go. This would say he looks, she looks. As long as she sees a marker, we're fine. And then she moves, but the only thing she moves is she jumps to the farthest away spawn spot. There's only one. And then again, she checks to make sure there's a marker on her space. If so, she keeps going. Okay, next turn. So this time, she is going to discard this map, and then she would end the game. So we should take care of her this turn if we can. I suppose even if we can't, it's going to trigger this and lose all our ether. So we don't want that to happen. We don't care about any of this. We just care about filling up our hand. I'm going to take... I'm going to take... So before I take our cards, we could flip this card for 3 and get the assistant back, which would let us bring this out cheaper in place of something else. And I don't think we need to do that now, but it would free up our hand for more than 3 cards. I mean, tactics is pretty good, but let's just go ahead and draw 3 cards. Our hand size is up to 9 now because we've got analysis, which increases our hand size by 1, and our mask, which increases it by 2. So that brings us to 9. But let's just get our 3. That brings us to a full hand. Now or never would get us wrath equal to our red cards. Not very useful. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we could gain another ether, which probably we should. It's worth quite a bit, don't you think? And we're not really ready for this card. So I am inclined... to strike this thing once more for 1 more ether. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That gets us another ether. And then we have to generate 6 green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a gem. And then we complete it. Make sure you have enough to finish the contact, yes. It's a little bit sad because I'd kind of like to use this to get us an item. But maybe carrying that around For distress, and we're going to heal some. So I think maybe I'd be better off actually spending one of these two and then taking a distress. I'm going to go ahead and take a distress to generate 3. It's a little bit greedy, but that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do that. So I'm paying for an assault. I'm paying for an assault. We took a distress. That gets us another ether. And now we just need to generate a 6 contact. We're going to spend 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's our contact. And we'll just have to get this card back. And that's gone. All right, so we've generated our 6 contact to have victory. We don't get any loot, but we did generate 3 ethers, which is no joke. That is a substantial number of ether for us. Where is our turns, though? Okay, there's our turns. All right, well, that was a fairly good slumber for us, except for the fact that it took so long. We're almost at Delta phase, so maybe we don't care so much about distress. Maybe we should just eat up all the distress we can get and sealed cards. Like, I could have just sat there and sealed more cards and generated more ether if we thought we were going to Delta phase it before we go in anywhere. But it doesn't matter because that is done. We're out of the slumber and we are back in the dream world here with 1 key. All right, now we walk over here and we get ourselves another fate. It's the old shop again. I must have put this not at the back. Put this at the back. Okay, so instead of the old shop, we've got this. It's a passage. If each dreamer seals 1 card, relocate the team to the chosen location of this map world, dream world map tile, or reshuffle the fate deck. This is this weird thing about reshuffling the fate deck. First of all, is this? It really looks like the same color scheme, but I don't quite see it. This looks like cobblestone, so guess not, huh? Looks similar though. All right, so the thing is, we don't really want to move on this. I mean, we could go here, but we really don't want to move much. And what does reshuffling the fate deck get us? That's a very weird thing about this game. Like, how are we supposed to remember if we want the things at the top or the bottom? We could relocate 1 space, which would put us at a sanctuary, which would allow us to unflip a progress card or restore an item. I think that's probably better for us, actually. But then we have to do another fate if we did that. I'm not sure that's worthwhile trade-off. But I'm open to it. I mean, an item is a pretty big deal. All right, let's shuffle the fate deck. I don't really understand how we're supposed to make that decision. I'm tempted to go to this sanctuary instead and get an item, but we'd have to, if we do that, then we just return here, but we'd get one extra fate card. Is that worth it? Is an item worth a fate card? It might be. What do you think? Shuffle the fate deck or take an item and get another fate? Items are pretty useful. I think, you know what? Let's take an item. We have no items. I think we kind of need some items. So I'll just put the fate here. So I'm going to let it relocate us here, which is just one space away. Then we're in the sanctuary where we could unflip a progress card or unseal a chosen card. I don't think we care. I thought we were going to get these unsealed. Was that our route that we don't think we get? So we could unseal one of these. We do have a good card that we would unseal. Hesitation. Movement of a monster. I mean, these are pretty good cards to unseal. Or we could get an item. You do have to seal a card to move to the sanctuary. Is that what it said? Is that what the fate card said? Oh, if you seal a card. I see. So maybe we should do nothing. Maybe we'll do nothing. Although, unsealing a card, that could undo the whole thing. No, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying for that privilege. Never mind. We'll just stay right here and not do anything. That's the way to go. Thank you. All right, so now we go back up here. We get our second key, which now with 2 keys, we are ready to progress into our gate if we want. If we don't want to build up keys, but maybe we do want to build up keys. Okay, but now we have to have another slumber. This is a crazy session. All right, let's see what we've got next. The Warden. All right, this Warden is annoying. We have dealt with him before. You're supposed to shuffle the deck. You think we're supposed to shuffle the deck no matter what? Let me see this. If you seal a card, relocate the... Or you may reshuffle the... I see. Or, so it's a punishment for not doing this. Okay, I'm going to reshuffle the fate deck then. Okay, that's fine. You were right. Because we didn't do this, I read it differently. I read we were paying to reshuffle. But now I see it's saying either seal a card to move or you're forced to reshuffle. Okay. So it did say you're forced to reshuffle. No, it didn't say. It said you may. So I didn't have to reshuffle. But I did. All right. Let's not worry about it. It's just a pure benefit. Now, here's a Warden. We could assault him, contact him, and end it. We got 4 turns, and all he does is a little bit of... He could catch us. Assault him for 10, contact him for 10. That's not easy to do, but we would get our free hint. All right, this whole game is about... This whole session is about... slumber, so we're just going to embrace it and go into this slumber and see if we can't figure out how to overcome and get rid of our Warden. All right, where have I put the cards? All right, we're going into this slumber. And let's remember, we're going to Delta phase soon, so we are okay with losing distress, right? Because they're all going to get healed up. So here is our Warden. And he has got his own miniature. And what does it say to use? The Warden. Which one is he? He looks like the Sentinel. But he's not. He's a small Warden. He's right here. Alright, so there's the Warden. He's spawning right there. That's the only place for him to spawn. And guess where we start out? We start out here. That's where we were. You stay in your same location from before. Well, is that good or bad? I'm not sure. It's bad for us here, but it's good if we want to assault him without taking any time. We may have to run away from him. He only moves to 4 turns. Okay, let's look at our first turn. He's going to morph. Then if we're in range, we'd suffer a distress, which we don't really care about. And then he's going to move. This is the red is the thing we care about the most. Resolve out of turns. So this is good for us. Even if he causes us some distress, even with the morphing, it's not a huge deal. So let's take our turn and see if we can't get a success, but we're also going to try to deliverance him if we can figure out how. 2, 3, 4. Okay, we've got shiny gems, which are good because we're running low on gems. It's a clover turn, so we could gain 5 yellow, which would allow us to get far away from him if we wanted to, but it's a little dangerous for us to get far away because we're going to need to assault him eventually. All right, well, let's start out by doing our free understanding deliverance, right? So we're going to 627 understanding. All right, let's pay close attention here. The guard is more than he seems. He always accompanies us, whether we like it or not, preventing us from achieving our goals. We do not live alone in the world. Not every dream can be fulfilled at once. And that is his job, to make us question ourselves before we make plans, to safeguard us from doing something stupid. That's the world, and it's sometimes better not to change it. Accept the obstacles, move around them, but know you won't be able to change the rules, at least not while he's around. All right, how do you read that? It's more than he seems. He's preventing us from achieving our goals. But that's his job, to make us question ourselves before we make plans, to safeguard us from doing something stupid. It's sometimes better not to change it. Accept the obstacles, move around them, but you know you won't be able to change the rules, at least not while he's around. What does that mean for us in terms of deliverancing him? I mean, he seems pretty tough. I don't see how we're gonna rage or intimidate him. Not that we even have a way to do it. But I don't think opening ourselves up to this guy is going to do us any good. So we're either going to have to fight him or try to deceive him. I don't think intimidation is going to work on this guy either. So it's either an all-out 20 assault, which is never going to happen, or deception. So if we wanted to try to deceive him, how would that work? Seal 3 cards, add 2 morphings, and resolve the script. So we'd have to seal 3 cards, add 2 morphings. Is that going to work on this guy? I mean, it could sneak away from him. I mean, this could work on this guy, deception. But 2 morphings would be pretty bad for us. He could start doing serious harm. On the other hand, we could probably survive it. Wouldn't be a bad time to do it if we're going to delta phase it. This kind of seems to like it's suggesting that we shouldn't. We shouldn't try to deliverance him. Better not to change it. But no, you won't be able to change the rules, not while he's around. Well, what do you think, Jonathan? I mean, whatever, if we do this and it fails, it wouldn't be the end of the world. We would seal cards that we're going to get back. So maybe we should try this. We are near the delta. It's not the worst thing. All right, let's try it. Let's try it. We want to deliverance all these people and see what happens. So we're going to seal 3 cards from the top of our deck. 1, 2, 3. If any of these were a flaw, they wouldn't go in, but they're not. They're cards we really want. So we're hoping to get these back soon. And now we're adding 2 morphings to him, which probably is not going to be the end of the world for us. Here's his 2 morphings. +1 range and +2 seal. But the sealing bonus morph only affects you if he already seals something. But since he doesn't seal anything, this one has no effect. But this one is going to make it so it's easier for him to hurt us. Okay, but now we're going to deliverance him on deceit. Here we go. Deception. When we're trapped in wheelchairs, all stairs are impassable mountains unless we use a lift. We won't break down the walls that surround us, but we can get to know them and look for doors in them, and sometimes we can just walk through them. Victory. Well, it's a victory. It's a victory, but it doesn't remove him from the game. I don't know if that means there was a better way to do it or not. I mean, was this a better outcome for us? I guess this was still a better outcome for us because we learned about what this deliverance does, and we get victory. It doesn't say gain loot here, But I'm going to assume that it means do the victory action here, which is gain the loot. And the loot says unseal one chosen card or the 3 top cards. So I think what we'll just do is we'll take our 3 top cards back. We think we're going to get all these back. So it's a little bit unfortunate that we didn't get a benefit that we're not going to automatically get. And then this dream ends. We are pretty close to our delta phase. He goes away. We're out of this dream. Jonathan says, I feel if we kill him, something chaotic will happen. That might help us and might hurt us, you know. Well, at least it is fun to learn about how these different deliverances work. So we still got some cards sealed. That was our second key. So what we could do now is go here, get our third key and our third slumber. There's 2 more before delta phase. So what we were planning on doing is going into this dream. So we won't have delta phase if we do that. So I think we're going to have to make a couple more cycles here because we need delta phase to kick in. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to do this twice, get 2 extra keys. And then we'll delta phase when we get to this one. And then we'll walk in fully healthy. Fully healthy this way. And have a dream. So we're going to cycle again here. So I'm going here to draw a fate. Draw and place a dreamscape slumber tile. So our dreamscape is getting bigger and we don't want this, but that's okay because it's going to be gone soon. All right, there is a place for this cork, so off it goes there. Now we go back here. We take an extra key. Now we've got 3 more than we need, and we have to have another slumber. You realize that we're going to get a bad slumber soon. The Wraith. Okay, this is our original Wraith. Now, 4 turns. Out of turns, she catches us. I mean, I guess we're going to try to deliverance this. Okay, well, here we are. It's just all slumber all the time in this 13th session. So we could just skip this, but I guess we're curious about the deliverance stuff, right? And we are going to delta phase, so maybe this is the time to do these. Where we know we can heal up. All right, so the Wraith is coming out. We've got a bigger slumber now. Bigger slumber map. This is an A2 here. And we've got the Strange Hood. What does the Strange Hood do? Whenever the red action would trigger, we would seal a card. And then we can come here and get rid of this. But we are not, surely we're not going to bother to do that when it's going to disappear sooner on its own. And do we see any symbols on this card? Doesn't look like it. All right, that's okay. It just means that the red stuff hurts us more, but it seals a card, which we think we're going to be able to take care of on our own. Now, the Wraith. All right, feels annoying to get a victory on. Well, maybe not. She just has to be outside of darkness, and then we can assault her or yellow thing to chase her out and gain the loot. That's not so bad. 4 turns. All right, this one's not so bad. So let's go ahead and give ourselves the 4 turns. Where were we? I think we were still up here, right? So we're still going to be next to the Wraith. I guess that's good. But it is in a darkness space, but we can light up the space. Is that right? Yes, we can put a light token for 7 green out. That's a lot of green. It's going to be a little annoying to do this. Maybe we can make friends with her instead. This might be one where we make friends with her. Okay, so our first turn is going to be, she moves towards us, then she causes us to suffer distress, and then she's going to morph and throw away any light we bring out. The loot, if we get rid of her on this turn, is we can seal 2 cards to get an ether. That would be pretty good for us, another ether. Okay, where is the Wraith? Where is the Wraith? There is our Wraith, right behind us. All right, the good news is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got a nice full hand already. And we're going to do our free look inward to try to see how we might end this, how we might understand this Wraith. So 586. All right, so we're going to use understanding for free. The way it extends its hand with the candle, the sound of its wheezing breath, could it be? The repressed memory returns clearly. We could have helped him, but we moved along as any sane person would do. Are we heartless creatures? He wasn't even drunk, and his heart squirmed in pain. In a sudden outburst of compassion, we approached the Wraith, wincing before its cold aura. Choose one, get straight to the point, or apologize. The Wraith is behind my back. And there it is. Let's look at it. Here it is. It's got a lantern. We're standing right in front of it. Well, what are we going to do now, Jonathan? We could have helped him. We moved along as any sane person would. He wasn't even drunk, and his heart squirmed in pain. I mean, like, get straight to the point. What? What are we doing if we get straight to the point? We could have helped him. We moved along. So you think we should apologize for moving along, huh? Okay, let's do it. Let's apologize. I'm sorry. I was just like everyone else. I was only thinking about myself. Now I see a little more clearly, but it's too late. Forgive me. The man was begging us for help. He wanted us to call his little girl, but we thought he was another drunkard lying on a pavement. He would probably never find her, but let's give him some company during his hopeless search. The Wraith looks at us curiously, but doesn't say a word. We'll look for her together, we say, a sad look and a slight nod of agreement. All right, it doesn't get rid of the Wraith, but basically we now know how to get victory every time we see the Wraith. So what is his victory situation? Victory. Victory doesn't look like we get anything, right? Because it just says we gain loot if we chased him out, but no victory benefit. So Jonathan thinks maybe we would deceive him to get him to go away forever. We don't even know if we can make him go away forever. All right, but no benefit. That's a shame. I would have liked to get the loot of the ether. But it's okay. It's not the end of the world. I'm going to leave this dream world out. And I'm going to cycle us again because we need to have one more slumber before we start our move towards gates. So we move for a fate and get, that's a turn card, that shouldn't be there. We move and get a fate, which is this. Draw and place a dreamscape. If there's a free quirk, lose all hours. Surely we're not going to lose 6 hours. That's just a huge number of hours to lose. That seems totally unreasonable. We get the hours back in Delta, so it doesn't really matter. Is that true that we get the hours back? We don't have to choose to get hours back? We auto get hours back? It does add ether. That's true. Well, if you're right that we don't have to choose hours. Yes, you're right. We get our hours back. Okay, that's fine then. You are right. You are right. So we don't care. Okay, we're losing all 6 of our hours. Then we shouldn't have spent that money for them in the first place. All right. If we had kept that card that gives us more hours, we would be able to pick up ether. All right. I've lost all of our hours. I'm giving us a new slumber tile. Does it have a quirk space on it? It does. And so winter is going to come out. I suppose this wouldn't have happened if there was no quirk spot. I'm not sure about that. Okay, let's go ahead and stick this out. This is all the way over here. Winter is here. You can gain hours here. And now ether comes out on all of these spots, which is kind of crazy. All of the snow gets ether on it. I mean, boy, is that tempting, huh? There's a lot of ether out there for us to grab. So what we're hoping for is a monster that gives us lots of turns and can't do much harm to us. But it costs us 6 yellow to pick up an ether. So it's not so easy to pick up an ether. But given that we're going to delta phase very soon, we could sort of, whatever we have to seal to get that is worth it. And we do have a nice big hand with the ability to get some gems, so this could be good for us. And we can relocate from here to, there's really no place. Let's not forget the red special effect. Okay, we don't even know how many turns there are. This was a fate card. So now we're walking up. It's off map. We are walking up from here and getting our last non-delta phase slumber. After this, it's delta phase. So let's see what our final person is. It's the Dreadful Locker. 4 turns. That's pretty good. You can't ask for too many more turns. We want turns because we want the ether. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, let's understand how this guy works. All right. This is interesting for us because we have no items, and the penalty for running out of turns is you lose all your items. So we can just not worry about this ending. A victory might be nice, but we don't really need a victory. We just need not to lose too badly. And the penalty for a red is seal 4 cards. That's pretty bad, but we think we're going to get them all back very soon. He doesn't cause us to lose distress, so we're not going to die. This is a pretty good slumber to have. So we spawn the locker, which is like the all right, so here comes the locker. There are multiple spawn spots, so let's see where he's going to come out. Our turn is a diamond. There is no diamond spawn spot, so we can put him here or here. Where do we want him? Where do we want him? What we think is that we don't want to have to... We can't really fight him. We're not going to try to clean up all these, right? In range. We don't want to be in range. So I'm thinking we just put him far away from us and don't worry about trying to deal with him. Although, look at this. I mean, I wouldn't mind that loot going on our entry path. So let's see. If we put him on our space, take the number of threat equal to the number of Dreamscape tiles currently revealed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'd have to put 5 tokens. We are going to put 5 tokens wherever we start him out. So if we wanted to get rid of all 5, it would take us 15 wrath. We're not going to do that in one turn. So I think because of that, what we're going to do here is we're going to say, go ahead, you start yourself off here. You drop all your tokens here. We don't care. Do whatever you want. Just stay out of our way. And we're going to try to get some ether before this whole thing is over. All right, so now we're going to try to understand this guy, 885, before we even start here. And then we're going to try to pick up some ether. All right, we're going to try to understand this locker. The fetid stench of the locker's breath almost knocks us out. Its clingy and imposing nature is similar to those aggravating snots who always want to tell us they know more or we can do something better. Nothing in this closet belongs to us. Inside, we only see the hated wisdom and beliefs of others, their knowledge, experiences, pain, and joy. But we're not more enlightened and experienced. Are we not more enlightened and experienced than all of them? All this is probably rubbish we don't need. We know better. Do we already understand what it is? Sounds like we should just attack and kill this thing. So this guy, just to remind us, he would be very easy to loot for victory if there were like 2 default slumber tiles. But because there's 5, he's too much work to defeat. So we're just going to outlast him and try to collect ether. But now, does this give you any clue how we should tackle this? Jonathan's saying, I can't tell if this is a trick and we should open ourselves up to it. You really want to just keep opening yourselves up to these creatures with their jaws? We know better. Do we already understand what it is? You're saying it's a trick, and if we follow our pride, we will attack it, and if we're smarter, we'd open ourselves up. I don't think we're gonna John says it does seem like we need the wisdom of others. We only see the hated wisdom and beliefs of others, their knowledge, experiences, pain, and joy, but are we not more enlightened and experienced? Probably rubbish we don't need. We know better. Do we already understand what it is? Well, it's a very interesting idea, Jonathan. You've almost talked me into thinking that we should open ourselves up to it. I'll tell you what we'll do. Here's what we'll do. We're going to make our way over there and try to get some ether. And he may meet up with us at some point. And then by that point, let's decide if we want to sacrifice one of our ethers to try to open ourselves up to this dreadful locker. But we don't have to decide right now. I guess we have to take a break, though. This is a very unusual session of Etherfields. It's not unpleasant. It is interesting that we have not had our dream yet, though. All right, 8 minutes. Jonathan says, we probably also want to consider if we should just end the stream when we're actually at the dream gate. Sometimes the dream just take a couple hours. Some have gone on. I'm not sure we want to feel rushed. Might be an all slumber stream. I think that is worth considering. All right. By the way, Jonathan, I did find the movie that I was talking about at yesterday's stream. I thought it was some old 1950s samurai movie, but actually it turns out it's from 2010. The movie was called Sword of Desolation or Sword of Devastation. And I've watched the scene over a couple times again. It's amazing, but apparently that scene is like the twist. So you probably don't want to watch that one scene on YouTube. I have started watching the movie though. It's supposed to be like a slow movie until this ending scene, but boy, is that an amazing scene. Okay, so we are going to try to gather ether. We don't care about losing this slumber because this guy only makes you lose items equivalent to the number of these tokens. There's going to be an infinity of these tokens, so we're never going to get a victory, but it doesn't matter. But we may try to have we may try to open ourselves up to the locker and see what happens. But let's try to gain some ether and then make our way to him. Now, we need 6 yellow intent to pick up an ether from our space. And I think the way we're going to do that is with gems. So I did want to remind myself that we could discard an ether or a key to gain a gem. That wouldn't make sense to discard an ether to get an ether, but we can also discard 3 cards to get a gem. And we can move with any card. So let's try to get at least 2 ether here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got a hand size of 9. 1, 2, 3. We don't really care about sealing cards or distress because we think we're going to delta phase. Long arms. We don't care about this. Seal this card to gain 3 of anything. That's great. And then here is our good old fire wings. This is the way to attack that locker if we want to kill it. Might be nice to hold on to this card and then like open ourselves up to the locker, and if the locker is like fuck you, then we're like fuck you. All right. Although this would be a nice progress card to get out. All right, we do have something that triggers on the current turn, which is a diamond. This would get us 2 jewels. I think that's probably what we want. So I'm going to go ahead and spend this to gain 2 gems. And then we want to walk down there and pick that up. It needs a 1 yellow to walk or spend any card to walk. I guess let's go ahead and get the other gems first. I'm going to throw this out, and we don't care about this card for now, although we do need movement. I think we are, and we don't care about stealing. So, and we don't want items, so we're definitely going to throw out this card. We now have to throw out a yellow or a red card. It sort of hurts me to throw this card out because it's a nice card to put out, but I think for now it's more important that we get these ether. So I'm doing these to use our So Shiny card to get 3 more gems. Now we've got lots of gems to spend to collect those ethers. I'd like to hold on to this in case we need revenge on that guy. We're going to seal this card to get that. Maybe we hold on to this so we can generate more gems. And this to move. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. We don't need green yet. So I'm going to throw this card away for the I run to live to move 1 space. And now we've got to generate 6 yellow to pick this up. So we're going to seal this for 3. We don't care about this. That's 4, 5. Oh, we do want this for move. So 3, I guess 4, 5, 6, 7. A little bit of a waste, but I think that's the way to do it. So with that spent and this sealed, we've picked up this ether. We're going to be able to buy some cool stuff today. All right, now, do we move over there now? No, there's no point. We've got enough to hold everything. So we're going to stop here. The entity is going to move. He moves 1 space this way. Then he does this basic effect. Each dreamer in range 2 seals 2 cards and then relocate to range 1 with the dreadful locker. Oh, I didn't see that coming. Well, I guess actually it doesn't matter for us, but it's a good thing we didn't move over there. So we're in range within 1. So here we are over here. Well, maybe we pick that one up. And then he morphs and he drops a token, which we don't care about, but I guess we do care about his morphing. Okay, so this basic effect brings us over to him. That's pretty annoying. Okay, so +2 seal. That could be pretty painful for us if we get unlucky, but maybe we don't need to worry about it for now. Maybe we're going to stun this guy. No, we don't need to stun him. All right, 4 cards. 2, 3, 4. We've got our ability here, and we've got our next turn card. We've also, we shouldn't forget that we've got our cat, and we could bring out a penguin. Where is this cat? I guess we'll stick him right there. All right, so the entity's going to move, then the red effect is going to trigger, which says we spend a gem or seal 4 cards, which would be 6 cards. It's a little high, even if we think we're going to get them all back. But maybe we just suffer it or get out of his way. And then the winter or the strange hood would seal an extra card. It's a lot of cards. It's a lot of sealing cards, but if we think we're going to get them all back on the next turn, we really don't care. Okay, we've got a couple of our rare cards here. Throwback says when we die, something happens. We don't really care about that. Stairs lets us go from one stairs to another. We are on stairs. There's another stairs. I suppose there's our stairs. But we don't really benefit from that. We might as well walk. And then what does Smarty do again? Roll the luck. Add a morphing, discard a morphing, or discard all morphings. That's a nice emergency card, but right now we're just going to use it for its thing. So probably, I mean, these are two away, that's one away. Do we really have a preference? We do have the ability to get more gems. Probably we'll walk over there and then we can pick up. So we can pick up any of these ether. The only question is there a reason to prefer one over the other? We could use the stairs to get us far away from this guy so he doesn't make us seal cards. I'm not sure we really care. Are there stairs there? No. Are there stairs there? No. Are there stairs here? No. So there really are no stairs near any of these. But here, so if you were going to use this in an emergency, one, two, three, four. I guess the only question is, should we try to go up, grab this one, and go get another one? One, two. If we're in range of two. So we have a choice. We can either try to keep ourselves at a distance. Could bring out a penguin too as a decoy for 6 green or an ether. I don't want to spend an ether. There is stairs here. I think maybe the thing for us to do is get this one and hide over here, and then he can't reach us, he can't cause us to seal. Maybe not. Maybe just let him seal cards for us. Try to be greedy. How greedy do we want to be? Let's try it. Okay, so I'm going to move up here into his space with our run to live card. We just throw away any card to move a space. I'm going to hold on to the stairs card and use that for a fast move. And then I'm going to spend 2, 4, I'm going to use these to generate 3 more. So I'm going to spend 2, 4, 6 to pick up this ether. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use So Shiny and throw away these 2 cards to get 3 more gems. just thrown away too. We're being greedy here. And the only thing I'm doing, oh, I guess we don't care about talking to him. Now, what I can do now is get ourselves away from this guy so he doesn't make us steal cards, even though we don't really care. So what I'm inclined to do is have us jump over here. 1, 2, 1, 2. We would still be within range. Range of 1. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use these stairs. Use these stairs to go. If I don't. I can't tell if I'm being stupid worrying about stealing cards, but maybe it is pointless to worry about stealing cards. 1, 2, and then within range. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to spend this card to transport us here. There is a stair thing on there. My idea is if he just moves his normal amount, he won't be able to reach us with this. And we'll be close enough that maybe we can get these. And I'm just going to leave this in my hand. Okay, I'm going to end my turn. Okay. You could argue that it would be better for me to absorb the seal and land on a space, but all right, let's not worry about it. Jonathan is still up for opening ourselves at the end. Well, we need green cards if we're going to do that. That's all right. That's something. So first, the entity is moving. He moves 1 space. Okay. Now he does the red effect. If we were within range of 1, we would seal 4 cards. Plus 2 would be 6 cards. So that doesn't trigger, but this still triggers and makes us seal a card. Oh, that's too bad. I would have liked to be able to use that card now. Okay, then this is gone. Our next turn card is here. He's going to move and then within range of 2, seal 2, and then relocate. That's a little annoying, but actually it's not so bad for us because we don't really care. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Here's our card this is the card that's gonna make it possible for us to get both of these. Draw to your hand limit. That is such an amazing card for us because we have such a big hand limit. So we're gonna use this last, take a distress, and then draw a whole new set of cards. That's great. Steam Bomb, I'd love to get this progressed, but I don't really care too much about it. We don't really care about this card. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to move with this card with I Run to Live 1 space. Then we are going to spend 6 to pick up this ether. Then we are going to move 1, 2 with this card. And then we're going to spend, that's our movement. Then we're going to spend 2 4, 6 to pick up this ether. This has just been an insane amount of ether. Look at this ether we're going to be able to spend. That's all we care about now. I mean, I'd love to get this card out. Is there any world in which, you know what? Let's not spend this. This is such a powerful card to spend on bad guys. Let's spend our last gem on this instead. But if Jonathan wants to have a discussion with this, we might need it. Okay, let's just go ahead. Let's keep it and use it. Now we have 1 gem left. We've picked up all the ether. And now this is the really cool part. Can stairs be used on any space, or does it have to be from stairs to stairs? I used it in any place. Let's see if that's true. It says, oh yeah, it says we had to be on a stairs to use it to go to stairs. So I cheated a little bit on that. I mean, I guess I could fix that by throwing away this gem. That's a pretty harsh punishment, but I'll go ahead and do it. Except, where were we when I used that? Were we? If we were here, then we were on a gem space, but maybe we were here. In which case, I could have used the gem, though, to just walk over there. I wouldn't need to use the staircase. So why don't we do that as a trade-off? I'll take the stairs back in my hand. And we'll use the gem to have moved from here to here. I think that's what I did. Well, we've collected all the ether. That gets rid of this fate card. I'm not sure if we needed to do that. In fact, I don't even want this card now. So I'm just going to discard that card. Okay, now this is the cool part. This card is so cool. Steal this card to draw to your hand limit. That's amazing. Okay, but we do pay a distress for that. So we're now up to 5 out of 8 distress. But we don't really care that it's sealed and that we get a distress because we are going to delta phase. So now I draw up to our hand limit. 1, 2. Then we have to reshuffle. I don't want to risk taking distress, so I'm just going to seal 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. So we're sealing 3 cards because we're reshuffling. And in fact, when we reshuffle, we can discard the top 3 to put a charge or gain a gem. I think maybe in this case, well, it's so hard to put a charge that I'm going to go ahead and put a charge on this. Just because we can get gems, but charges are very hard to get. And that's this ability we have, the builder, that lets us do that. Why am I showing you this? I was in A2. I was here when I used the stairs. All right, so I guess I had to use the stairs. All right, I threw it away, so it's okay. Why am I showing you this big view, though? You should at least be able to see a little zoomed in. Okay, so we've got 9 cards here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because of our combined mask and analysis, this is a very strong engine here. 9 cards. Now, let me remind you that we've gotten all the ether. And we're not going to try to do this. So the only thing we're going to do now is try to commune with this locker that Jonathan wants to do. Jonathan wants to try to open ourselves up and let the locker eat us. Surely it's not going to kill us, though. So we just need to get one away from him and then generate and give up one of our ethers. But we did get a lot of ethers, so I'm not totally opposed to it. We're in the clover, which is 4 yellow intent. We don't really care about that. We don't really care about any of this. We wouldn't mind getting a gem. Doesn't really matter. So we're just going to move 1 and then 6 green. 2, 4. So there's 4 green. 5 green. 6 green. There's our 6 green. And then we just need to move 1. And the only question then is what card do we move with? And what cards do we keep in our hand for next turn? So let's keep Sea of Fire so that we can assault something in our next battle. This is not a bad card. This card we're not going to be using anytime soon, Smarty. So I think we're just going to use this to move. So we're going to move here, face our locker. Hold on to this card. Is this a better card to spend? Let's spend that one instead. All right, so we're going to hold on to these cards, and now we are going to do this. We've got our 6. We are talking to this. We're opening ourselves up to this locker. We are spending this. We've got enough cards that we can run away if we have to. We can run to the whole other end of the map if we need to. If this doesn't end the dream. And we're spending this ether. All right. Here we go. Let's see how this... Do you have any prediction how this is going to go, Jonathan? I don't think we have any way to predict what these do. All right, so we're going to Deliverance, which is 885, and we are opening ourselves up to the locker. We lift up our arms, showing the locker. We don't have any... We don't mean to harm it. There's the locker. Not going to harm you. It cautiously crawls to us. Sniffs us hesitantly, its giant teeth right next to our heads. And then it licks our faces. We shudder in disgust, but understand it doesn't want to hurt us, but was just seeking companionship. Its gathered experiences, literally, will make our journey through this life much easier. Victory. The slumber ends, remove the slumber tile from the game, and we gained something precious, a locker of our own. How cool is that? We've gained a companion. I think we've gained a companion, a locker companion. That thing just wanted to be friends with us. All right, good work, Jonathan. Now, it was a victory. Victory. I think we would gain loot. It says unseal. I'm not sure if we really are supposed to gain this loot. The slumber ends. Gain what? Gain loot. Victory. Gain loot. I'm going to call that a victory where we get our loot. The loot is not so great here. It just says unseal a card or reshuffle. Jonathan says we're not supposed to gain the loot. All right, I'll take Jonathan's word for it. All right, so the locker is gone. No more locker in our game. That's kind of sad. because now I've got fond memories of him. But 241D, I think we're going to have a new companion like that penguin, except it's going to be a locker. You ready? Oh, it's an influence card. Okay. Oh no. So it's a progress card. Oh my god, it's full of things. Okay, so this is a weird looking card because of that 2 blue in the bottom right. It costs 2 green to place it. It's a red progress card. Now, once once it's progressed, it looks like we spend 2 gems to do this. We put the locker within range 1. Then we can spend green to move the locker. And then on a diamond turn, if you're in the locker space, you can spend a gem to restore an item. Look how cool that is. And then when the tile with the locker is discarded, discard the locker. Okay, this is pretty huge. Look how weird but cool this is. We basically build this progress card, and then when we're ready, we spawn this locker with gems. It's expensive to get him out. Like, we have to have a lot of blue gems to use this, but we tend to have lots of blue gems sometimes. So we bring him out with 2 blue gems, and then as soon as we hit a diamond turn, which is only a quarter of the turns, it can be pretty hard to wait for a specific turn, but a diamond turn comes, and then we walk over him, and for 1 gem we can bring out an item. So if we had 3 gems, if we had our full complement of gems, we could go and fill up 3 items. I mean, that's pretty powerful. Those items are very strong. Even when they're just used for their intent, they just don't take up hand space. So that is pretty nice. That is a pretty nice way to get items. Now, why would we need to move him? I guess you got to move him so that he's near you. Seems like you would only do that when you were really ready to do it, though. It's expensive to make it work, but items can be pretty strong. Okay, that's pretty fun. That is pretty fun. And the other thing is, it's a red progress card, and we've got some cards that build on top of each other for red progress. So I don't hate the idea of having more red progress cards. It's pretty expensive to make this work, though. I mean, I have 2 gems, 3 gems, 4 gems. That's a lot of gems. But items can be pretty powerful. All right, this goes into our... I mean, it seems like it should go into our hand, right? We've just made friends with this guy. He surely wants to come along with us. And the slumber ends. So the cat... this guy is now our guy. Like, we keep this guy with us. He's one of our friends now. Finally, an optimal deliverance. Yes, we finally did have an optimal deliverance. Good work, Jonathan, sussing out which one to use. We have a lot of sealed cards, but now is where it's all going to be fine. So we don't care about these. They don't do anything bad to us. Look at all the ether we have. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have never had so much ether. This is our slumber dream, which is going to get thrown away. So we don't really need to keep it out, but we will keep it out for now. Back in Dream World, we have our 3 keys, more than we need. And now our plan is to head towards Profundum, where we are going to have our dream. But along the way, we want to make sure we go shopping. So our plan was to do something like here, shopping, and then here. Was there still any reason to go to the sanctuary? Yes. We could get items and unflip progress cards if we hit sanctuaries. So I wonder if that wouldn't be better than shortcutting. So I suggest we go this way, take 2 fates, and then flip a progress card, and then come here for our delta phase, and then shopping, and then hit our destination. Suppose we don't care about this one, so we could take a different route, but I don't see much of a better way to get here. Of course, we don't care about shortcuts. Shortcuts just seal cards, so we could just jump right. But we don't want to have to go through more than one gate. Okay, so let's just go. We'll go here. We'll flip a card, even though we don't really care. But I don't think we care about the fate too much either. I mean, is it worth taking 2 fate to get this? I think I'd shortcut. There might be a fate card that loses our ether. I don't recall. It's true. We don't really need the sanctuary. It would just let us flip a card, but we could... Or restore an item. I mean, that's not a joke, restoring an item. Surely we're not going to lose ether. And we don't care. I'm gonna chance it. I want to do that. So I'm gonna go here. I'm not gonna shortcut it. I'm gonna draw a fate. If we lose all our ether, I'll have a heart attack. Or I guess a fate could send us right into a slumber. We don't want that either, but I'm gonna take a chance. All right. Draw and place a dreamscape slumber if there's a quirk, and so on. Okay, we don't care about any of this because we are... Okay, so there's a slumber tile. It doesn't have a quirk, so this goes away. No effect. And then we're doing it again. It's the old shop. So we have now cycled through all the fate cards. So is that right, or is there 2 old shops? I guess we shuffled. There are some good fates too. So actually, we don't really care about this. Here's another slumber map. I don't think we've ever seen this one, but it doesn't have a quirk. Our slumber map is huge now, but we don't get to see the old shop again. We've missed it once again. All right, now we walk into the sanctuary here. So a sanctuary lets us unflip a progress card or choose an item. So I think we should unflip the assistant card, which lets us put new progress cards out cheaper. because we should use our locker to get our items. Okay, then we walk over here, which gets us a fate. This fate is seal 2 cards or put the slot delta at the bottom. All right, well, we don't want that. We definitely will just seal 2 cards. We don't really care about that. I'm looking for if there are any symbols here. Don't forget, we're also looking for these, but I don't see any of them. All right, so I'm just going to seal 2 more cards, which we don't care about because we think we're getting them all back. That fate is going away. And now we walk over to the gate in Echo, and we go get our next gate, and it's Delta Phase. Da-da-da-da. What we've been waiting for quite a while. Choose one option, but we have the optimization progress card built. And so we're going to discard optimization to choose 2 of these delta options. We're going to cure all our distress, which we really need to do because we've got 5 wounds. So all of those are going to get cured. And we are going to unseal all our cards because we've got a huge stack of sealed cards. So now we are back at mostly full everything. And now we reset to our limit, so 5 hours. I guess we never should have had 6 hours. Now we're back at 5 hours again, which is what Jonathan was telling us not to worry about. And now the bad part is it's going to be a long time till we see another Delta Phase. So we get our Slumber deck. The locker is gone, and the shapeless have been replaced with the fearsome shapeless. So these get shuffled. We don't know where the fearsome shapeless are. And then this goes at the bottom. So it's going to be a long time until we have another Delta Phase, unless we hit an emergency, and then we'll push this button. Is that it? Have I done all the, did I do all the Delta Phase? Keep on moving down this endless road, but take a detour sometime to visit dreams shrouded in mists of your desires and memories. Okay, and no, this doesn't belong somewhere, right? That's purple. I guess we don't really have any purple in this card. All right, so that's our delta. And now everything matters again. So let's just decide. We're surely going to get to the gate where our dream is. And also, that gets us a key. Because we took a key and caused a slumber. All right, so we could seal a card to go to this space. Probably that's what we would want to do, right? Because when we walk in there, we're going to be able to unseal it. So it's really cost-free, right? Oh, but we wanted to go shopping. We wanted to go shopping. That's why we're not doing that. That's why we're not taking a shortcut. So now we've got to go through 2 fates before we go to our dream. All right, so we're going to go along this path here, which gets us a fate card. It's a free shortcut. Okay, no complaints there. Any symbol cards? Any symbols from that? I don't think so. All right, so that stays out with us. And then shopping. All right. Now, we can't really cycle around to shopping multiple shops. So it seems to me that we want to spend all of our shopping cards. Don't you think? So we're going to spend all our shopping cards, which is going to allow us to draw 9 influence cards from the influence market. Now, I don't remember if I stuck new cards right on top. I'm a little bit concerned that I'm not sure if I should have or not. I'm just going to take 9 from the front. How much ether do we have to spend? 8 ether. All right. You ready, Jonathan? Another getaway card. This is a pretty good card. Entities ignore your dreamer. That's a pretty good card. It's also good because it's cheap for us to flip progress cards. So that's not a bad card to have in our hand. Unclear but efficient. It's a 2 wrath, or all entities in range 1 are affected, and if we roll a 3, we gain 6 wrath. This is not a great card. It's expensive. It costs 3. And most of the time it'll be +0. Whereas if you just use it, this is a guaranteed +2. And here you could turn it into like a +7, but probably not. And it's very rare when there's multiple people in range 1. So I would be inclined not to take this card. A red amulet progress card. This charm has never failed me. It's a blue gem. Draw 2 cards. You seal it or discard it with a 1/3 chance. That's not too bad. It does cost a gem to use, though. So you're spending a gem to draw 2 cards. 1 out of 6 chance you seal or discard it. So you keep getting this over and over again. And it's worth 2 wrath. Or 2 cards. I'd be inclined to take this one. I think that's a pretty good card. What's this? An owl friend. You can draw cards at any time because of that lightning. That's pretty good. You need to have a gem, though. That's a little rough. But 2 cards, that can make a difference. Okay, who is this little owl that wants to befriend us? So it gives you 2 yellow, or you pay a yellow. Choose dreamers in any range, move each one. Okay, we're going to call this a multiplayer card. We have to decide that we don't want it, but assuming we don't want it, we can get a new card because this feels like a This feels like a card made for multiplayer. It's a nice move anywhere, but it's a one-time use anywhere. I don't want that card, so I am going to throw it away, call it a multiplayer card, and get a replacement. Analysis, hand size increased by 1. Okay, so we could get a second analysis card and go up by 1 more. You should keep an eye out for symbols on these cards. Yes, I should. This feels like overkill for me to be getting another progress card. It's rare we ever get up to 9. Going up to 10 seems like overkill, so I'd be inclined not to take that, even though it is pretty cool. Okay, here's a card we've not seen before. A 2 green. Wait, just leave me alone. Stun an entity in any range if this entity has any contact interaction, or return this card to the influence market, which I don't want to do, to stun all entities. It is weird that it costs, it's a 2 green, or it costs us to stun an entity, but only if you can normally contact it. That doesn't seem all that useful. On the other hand, I'm starting to feel like we need more green cards. So I don't hate it. Stun means it can't hurt, it can't cause you to lose distress. When you stun a creature, he doesn't cause you to lose it to gain the red distress tokens. He still moves. He could still make you seal cards, but he won't bite you. All right, maybe. Next up is this. Throw anything, just throw it. Increase the range of your current action to 5 if it's an assault. Normally, you may discard 1 active item to gain assault equal to the number of intent on this item. John says weight might be good in slumbers. I think you're right. This card, I mean, the flexibility of being able to use it for a move or an assault is good. The ability to increase a range of an assault by 5 is great. So even if this is rarely going to we're rarely going to want to use this, I think. But being able to increase an assault range to 5 is pretty good. And a 1 and a 1, it's not bad. I mean, we have a lot of those shiny cards that want us to throw away a card. I'd be inclined to not, I don't mind that card. And Jonathan says it might go well with getting items out of the locker. It's true. Okay, next up is find the pattern. We have one of these already. Seal this to draw 3 cards. This is a pretty useful card to draw. I mean, being able to draw 3 more cards in the course of play is pretty big, especially with the large hand size we have at a cost of 2. I'd be inclined to take that as well. 6, 7, 8. Well, we already have more cards than we can afford, so we're going to have to make some tough choices. Now or never. What's this? Okay, we have one of these already. These are pretty useful to us. We've made good use of this now or never card. We rarely ever use it for anything but 2 gems. But it is pretty useful. can do a long walk, but we rarely ever use it for anything but diamonds and clovers. But 2 gems is no joke. It gives you 4 of anything. That's a pretty good card. We already have one of them, though, and it is a red wrath. Okay, and here's our last card to choose from. Whoa, look how cool this card looks. Holy cow. Pure light. A source of infinite light. Return this card to the influence market to cure all distress, and you can use it whenever you want. This is like our Hail Mary. That could be the difference between life and death. That is a pretty beautiful, cool looking card. I was just in a museum looking at some old religious paintings, oil paintings from 1700s, and boy, the religious cards are pretty, religious paintings can really affect you. I mean, they just look so, they look different. Any symbols matching pure white? I don't think so. I mean, there's one yellow one here, but that's not that. Well, we've got some tough choices. We've got 8 ether. All right, we're going to throw these, we're going to put these out of the picture because they're not good enough. Here we go. So if we wanted everything, it would cost us 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we have half as much. All right. For enjoyment purposes, I feel like the 2 cards that we actually have 3 cards already, right? I think maybe if we take the 3 cards we already have, Jonathan, and we put those aside, now we have 10 points worth of cards. So if we say we're not going to take another getaway, we're not going to take another find the pattern, and we're not going to take another now or never. I think, and it's a yellow, a red, and a green, and we have yellow, reds, and greens. So I say we take the ones we already have and say we're not going to buy those. And then we've got these 4. Now, there is a real phenomena in deck building type games, in living card games like Arkham Horror, whatever, that it makes sense to have multiple of the same card because then you can rely on it. You know, it's going to keep coming up and up. But I don't think these are really cards to rely on. I mean, I do think this is a very powerful card to draw 3 cards. But having high valued intent is good too. Okay, let's see what Jonathan wants. I'd probably go with amulet, weight, and then probably throw anything. So amulet, weight, and throw everything. Okay, let's take amulet. That's pretty fun. And it lets us... Remember, we have to spend a gem for this. But a gem for 2 cards seems like most of the time you get more than 2 intent. Okay, and the better our deck gets, the more powerful that gets. Okay, let's take that. That's 3. Weight is not that great, but I'm starting to feel the hurt of not having enough green cards. All right. I think we'll take weight, which is 2 more. And now we've got 3 left. We've got a one-time use card for 2. But it can only be used once. So we just be walking around with this card in our deck till an emergency happened. And hope that we have it out when that emergency happens. And then we have to give it back to the influence market. But it could absolutely save our lives. So what would happen? We draw this card and then we just keep it in our hand for the rest of a mission. If we're in a dangerous mission, we draw that card, we keep it in our hand until we feel like we're going to die, and then we use it. Alternatively, we could get throw anything, which is more flexible, gives us a range of 5 when we assault. That feels more useful. This could save our lives, but it means, have we ever been in a situation where we would have used this in 13 sessions? I'm not sure we ever would have used this in 13 sessions. And it encourages us to gunk up our hand and keep it. So I think your instinct was right, Jonathan. I think we're not going to take this one. We're going to take throw anything, I think. Let me just look at these others that we're giving up here. I think you could make a pretty good case. Let me just point something out. Like, I don't think we need another now or never. Find the pattern. I mean, I love that it's free. Steal this to draw 3 cards. That's pretty huge. Having 3 cards is pretty huge. And in an emergency, we give it... No, I never want to do that. That's a pretty great card. And it's a green if we think we need more of those. Well, let me point this out, though. Okay, throw anything. Increases range to 5. Discard items to gain intent. That's kind of fun, especially at a bunch of items. So you can see how fun that would be. On the other hand, this is like keeps anyone from hurting us. Let's take the fun card. Let's take something new. I think we're in this for the fun of it. So let's take three new cards. I'm not sure strategically that it's the smartest thing to do to have so many random different cards in your hand, but because we're in this for exploration, I think it's fun to get cards and try to figure out how to use them. So 5, 6, 7, 8. That's our full 8. That's all of our ether gone. We're not keeping any of it for emergencies. We've bought ourselves 3 cards. Why do I not remember? These cards go in our discard, right? Place these cards in your discard. Okay. All right, that's pretty fun. And now we're probably over our allowed amount, but as long as we don't wake up, this was what everyone is saying, like a way to beat the system is to never do an awaken, and then you can be over the card count limit. And the cards we didn't buy go at the back of our influence market. It is still fun to go shopping for influence cards, and there's still a lot more we haven't seen. Let's finish moving to our gate, and then we'll decide what to do. The worst we've ever been is during the train station dream. I mean, let's hope we don't get into that situation. The thing is, I think it would cause us to play poorly to hold on to that card, which I don't love. Okay, so now we go here, we do a fate. And the fate we've got is draw in a dreamscape slumber if there's a quirk. We don't care about this because we're going to be going into a dream. What is interesting is this is the last of the slumber tiles. Now we would have a big giant map. Maybe we could ask if there's any symbol on here. Is this go with this? Is this from here? No, this is a little handle. I feel like we might have seen this before, but there is no turnable handle on this one, right? Like it's a little wheel to open this vent of this submarine. I think that's it. Okay, so this comes out, this goes on here. Shuffle the fate deck. Okay. And then we walk over to the gate at Profundum where we are now prepared to go into this dream. We have 4 keys, more than enough to go in higher and higher. So now we need to have a little discussion. It is 4 a.m. No, it's not 4 a.m. It's 3 a.m. We've been playing for 4 hours. It's time to decide whether we end this session now. Jonathan says, I think it makes sense to end the stream. I think there's a good chance it will take more than 2 hours. I think you're probably right. I think, well, your judgment is usually good about these things. It also makes this session feel quite unique and special in that it's been a 4-hour session where we did not enter a dream. Now, if you had asked me about that 5 or 6 sessions ago, I would have said that would be a nightmare. But it's actually been very enjoyable. It's been enjoyable because we had some interesting slumbers, mostly because we explored Deliverance. And it had a nice trajectory because at the end we did some shopping and got some good stuff to make ourselves stronger. And now we're going to walk into this next dream at full power. Looking at the hint cards make the slumbers more fun. It absolutely does. That was a very good decision. All right, anything else for us to discuss before we wrap this up? The only thing that we're not doing, which is a little bit of a shame, is we're not progressing on this mystery path, which I think might make us stronger. If you were playing by the rules, it would take much longer. It's true. If you were playing by the rules, each time you wanted to... Each time you wanted to try to understand each other, it would be 10 contact. I suppose this is not scaling by player count. So actually, it feels like you could help each other and someone would be able to do this without 2 keys. So maybe that wouldn't be quite as bad. Maybe that's not as good in a solo game. This is a long, long game if you play strictly by the rules. That is I think that is accurate. I think they meant it to be a long, long game. But I think we figured out a reasonable balance to having a long game. Maybe not as long as originally intended, but we are having a long game. 13 sessions. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. All right, we're gonna call it to an end here. Thank you, Jonathan, for the teamwork. We are in pretty good shape going into that next dream. No distress, no gems, but already half a hand of cards. No sealed cards, a big hefty deck. I think we're in good shape. All right. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.